Hello everyone and welcome to the New York Empoleon's Week 10 battle of the PCL. We are 4-5 and yet still in last place in the division. So after starting out 0-4, we have definitely made a run back a little bit. We are not mathematically eliminated. However, should we lose this game and Die win his game, which is against Melon this week, we are officially eliminated for the first time in New York Empoleon history. We will not make playoffs. However, if we win this game, we are not possibly mathematically eliminated, although Die winning his game would make that significantly more difficult. Since my last 2 weeks are against Danza and Die, and both are going to be must-wins if I win this game. If I lose this game and I am out, expect me to have some fun with this team. I really like this team when I drafted it. I really like some of the mons on it. So the last couple of weeks are going to be fun if I lose. But right now, we are still fighting for a playoff spot, and it's going to come down to differential at the end of the season. So bigger differential really benefits us. Like, we need to make sure we're actually thinking about it. Not to the point where it's going to cost us the game. Obviously, wins first, differential second, but differential has to be something I'm considering, which is not my usual playstyle. My opponent this week is going to be Obo, coach of the Houston Laxes. He is replacing Brendan, coach of the Trenton Thunderous, with the same team. So just a heads up there, it's not a team he drafted. He is going to be rocking out with a Zygarde 50%, Alola Ninetales, Serena, Porygon 2, Volcarona, Mega Metagross, Toxapex, Rotom, Lycanroc Day, Primeape, and Mandibuzz. Right off the bat, what are we going to notice? He has a couple of common weaknesses to things, and not great ground type switch-ins outside of Mandibuzz and Serena, and maybe Rotom, none of which really appreciate getting Ice Punched, as you'll think about. So Ice Punch and ground coverage, very, very good. And Rotom, the one thing that resists those two things, or not resists, but isn't really weak to, doesn't like taking a knockoff. Ninetales Alola form can kind of resist those, but it's not very bulky. So, and it's weak to Stealth Rock. So we're going to lead off, not necessarily lead off the match, but right now, lead off with Dart, the Swampert, holding a Rindo Berry in case Serena wants to click a Grass-type move, in case Volcarona wants to click that Grass-type move and isn't boosted, or in case something is teching a Hidden Power Grass. We are going to be able to eat that Rindo Berry and survive it. Stealth Rock, Earthquake, Toxic, and Ice Punch. Toxic there for the Porygon 2, for the Volcarona, for the Serena, honestly for the Ninetales, the Zygarde, like everything on his team, Rotom, Mandibuzz, do not want to be Toxic. So I thought it was better coverage than Waterfall this week, which would help me hit the Volcarona, although Earthquake still does a decent chunk to it. It can't really boost up in front of me. And since I am Adamant Max Attack, I can do a lot more damage than he's expecting to things, which is going to be really, really helpful. Especially if I set up Stealth Rocks, he'll think I'm defensive, and then I can pop off with some sort of attack. We do have a decent amount of speed, which allows us to outspeed certain threats on his team, including the Volcarona, not the Volcarona, what am I saying? Specifically not the Volcarona, including the Mandibuzz if it is uninvested Mandibuzz, or even with 4 speed, I still outspeed it, as well as the Toxapex, even if he's max speed Toxapex, we outspeed, just kidding. Anyway, well, I mean, I do, that's not a joke, but like, I don't expect that to be the case. But we do have enough speed to outspeed a uninvested Mandibuzz, and the rest was dumped into bulk. Next up, I haven't done one of these team builders in a while, so I'm a little bit like out of it for a minute. But next up, we do have our Gardevoir, which is going to be timid with a lot of speed investment. I don't recall if I went max speed. I'm going to check right now. I didn't go quite max speed, so if he is max speed Volcarona, he will outspeed me. But 141, which becomes 163 when I Mega Evolve, will allow me to outspeed Alola Ninetales if it is modest nature, as well as Zygarde 50% no matter what, and Primeape no matter what. So obviously barring those two getting some sort of boost, like a Choice Scarf or a Dragon Dance or something like that. But we do have answers for that as well. So that's what this set is going to be running. If he's running max Volcarona, he's going to outspeed me, it's fine. Volcarona can't one-shot me with anything, but Psyshock is going to do a lot no matter what he's boosting, because Quiver Dance does not stop me from hitting his weaker physical defense. Next up, we have our Thunderous Therian form, Timid, Volt Absorb, Electrium Z, Volt Switch, Hidden Power Ice, Discharge, and Dark Pulse. Like I said, Hidden Power Ice type coverage is really good against his team this week, and then nothing except for Zygarde, which doesn't like Hidden Power Ice, and Serena wants to take any sort of electric type attack, and Rotom, but Rotom gets hit by Dark coverage. So we do have the Discharge, we have the Electrium Z. Obviously, if he goes Zygarde and I pop my Electrium Z, that's a problem. But Electric MZ is going to help me just like nuke something on a potential switch in, like a Porygon 2 that wants to come in and take a hit. It's just not going to take it nearly as well, forcing recovers, allowing me to switch out and get some pretty free openings to hitting his Porygon 2. Next up, we have Nolan, the Heatran, Lava Plume, Flash Cannon, Stealth Rock, and Toxic. 2 rockers this week because Volcarona is a problem, and because I just want chip everywhere. Ninetales, Volcarona, those are the things I kind of want to chip down. This thing is extremely free against Ninetales. If he's rocking out with a Hidden Power Ground, it's fine. It's a 3-hit KO, I believe. I can do the calc right now for you guys while we're live. It's not live, but that's fine. The only thing he could possibly hit me with is a Hidden Power Ground, and that's going to do 40 to 48% if he is timid. And if he's modest, Gardevoir outspeeds. Flash Cannon is going to return and kill it. Lava Plume can return and not quite kill it, but do a lot of damage, potentially get the burn. And if he does set up the Aurora Veil, then even Flash Cannon won't quite take him out unless rocks are up, which is why I definitely want rocks to be up on his side of the field, so that he takes that 25%. Next up, we have Diggersby. Diggersby is my late game sweeper, and I'm hoping late game comes mid game, and we are able to allow this thing to just pound into him in the middle. Agility, Earthquake, Ice Punch knockoff, the coverage I mentioned before, which just decimates his team. Yachi Berry lets me take an Ice Punch from Mega Metagross, which is the most likely thing I would I'm not going to necessarily set up on Mega Metagross, but that thing cannot take an Earthquake from me. Additionally, it allows me to take an Ice Beam from a Porygon 2, which may be able to take one of my hits. If I click knockoff and he Ice Beams, and then I can Earthquake the second turn, which will take out the Porygon 2 after the knockoff and getting rid of the Eviolite. Ice Punch allowing me to hit Serena. Mandibuzz super hard. I do need some chip on things, which is why I want the rocks up, but otherwise this thing can come in, hopefully like not too many Pokemon go down before that, click Agility, and proceed to go from there. Since I outspeed everything on his team, including Mega Metagross and Lycanroc Day after an Agility, unless they're obviously Scarf. And then Ditto is here this week. There's a couple of reasons for Ditto. The first is I can steal a Aurora Veil, which is pretty nice. I know I'm Scarfed, but Scarfing myself into Aurora Veil as he switches out into one of his many Ninetales counters isn't the scariest thing in the world. Ninetales does not touch Porygon 2, Ninetales does not touch Volcarona, so I go for that Aurora Veil. I can go out into my Diggersby, click Agility safely. If he goes into his Volcarona, then I can go out into Gardevoir, I can go out into Heatran, things like that, and be able to take any hit from that just fine with the Aurora Veil up and proceed to Toxic or whatever I need to do, put up my rocks, things like that, so that I can take the hits. Additionally, this thing gives me full information about his sets. If he starts setting up with Zygarde and it becomes a huge threat, I can always go into my Rotom as like a kind of ditch effort, like, okay, sometimes you just need to click a button to save yourself. And if Volcarona sets up a whole bunch, obviously, if it sets up a whole bunch, I'm not doing a lot of damage to him, but he's also not doing a lot of damage to me. It's possible I may end up needing to like Fiery Dance into Struggle, depending on how he roosts and stuff, but Struggle would actually be doing more damage because it's physical. Anyway, that's the team this week. Need to win, try to get as much differential as possible, and hopefully we will not be eliminated after this weekend, but you guys go watch Dai's channel, go watch my opponent's channel, and hopefully you guys will see that the New York Empoleon have life. There's a chance we are 1 game back with 2 to play should Dai lose and we pull out this game, and we actually could theoretically still, mathematically, make playoffs without a tie. If Dai wins a single game, that no longer becomes possible. Anyway, thank you all for watching this portion of the video, if you did, and I will see you guys back here in a second with that battle. So, that's what I'd say at the end of this part of the videos. Hello everyone, welcome back. I think my team is missing Ditto, and has Serp on it instead, which is not exactly what you're looking for here. So put the Ditto on top of the Superior, and then get rid of the Superior. No, don't ever Bombi. Okay, oh god. Minute 20 seconds, Porygon 2, Toxapex, no Rotom, he's got the Lycanroc instead. He has the Serena, and he doesn't have the Zygarde. So no Rotom, he's got the Serena, and he's got the Zygarde, not the Zygarde, the Lycanroc, not the Zygarde. Okay. Let me put that down in my notes now that I've adjusted it on the screen. So he does have no Ninetales, which is nice, which I'm totally cool with. And that's going to allow me to I can't really lead with Swampert since that's the predictable lead. I could lead with Heatran. Nothing really overly threatens Heatran on this team, which is pretty great. And I can do that. If he does set up rocks, I don't have Defog this week on anything. And if he has Rapid Spin on his side, then that's obviously a problem. But since my sweeper is my Diggersby, which is resistant to rocks, and I don't necessarily need Thundurus for anything, rocks didn't seem that vital. I would love to eliminate the Lycanroc before Corona Light is the... just leads Volcarona straight up. Okay. Wow. I didn't expect you to do that. Gonna be honest, I did not expect him to just lead Volcarona. I think Toxicking this thing is my best play. If he starts setting up Quiver Dances, I do have Ditto in the back. And so I can Toxic, and then next turn I can Stealth Rock. Goes for the Hidden Power Ground, probably, which is going to do a lot. We're going to take it. And we're going to get off a Toxic here, which works for me. Now I can go out into Thundurus if I think he's going to Hidden Power Ground again. I can go out into my Swampert. I don't necessarily expect that to be the play. Let's take a look at how much that did in damage. Hidden Power Ground. So we're looking at... Hold on, let me just check, make sure that this is the same set, because for some reason I'm like doubting myself. No, this is correct. So we were down to 49 out of 197. So equals 197 minus 49. That's 148 damage, which is a max roll if he's max special attack modest. And if he's timid, is not a possible roll. So he is max special attack modest nature, or he's like some sort of specs or something. Now I can go out into Thundurus. Like I said, Thundurus, important but not vital to my success of my team, and allows me to just not let my Heatran go down quite yet, which is sort of a good thing, because I do believe that Heatran does have more value to me later. And he does go for the Hidden Power again. We're going to see that it is definitely confirmed to be ground, and we actually also see the leftovers on this as well. Now, I can click Electrium Z, knowing that he is max special attack modest, knowing that he does not have the Zygarde. Nothing switches. Serena can switch into this, sure. But Volcarona, there's a good chance it dies to this at 12, after he's taken 12%, so he's at 88%. It's a guaranteed OHKO if he has no defensive investment. As long as I Z Discharge. I could Volt Switch if I think that's the better play, but I am just going to pop off the Z Discharge here. And if he lets his Volcarona die, then I'm actually perfectly comfortable with that. That thing is a big threat, so just getting rid of that's going to be really, really nice. If it does have bulk investment, that's okay. Heat Wave, Fiery Dance, they don't kill me right now. So, you know, we'll be okay, and we just proved that we're faster, so we will be able to get off another attack. If he does go for a Quiver Dance here, then he'll take a lot more toxic damage and should die anyway to that. So we are going to be able to kill the Volcarona, which is amazing. That's really just what I wanted, honestly. So Thundurus T kills Volcarona with Electrium Z. And now it's sort of like, what do you go into? This Lycanroc's a switch in here, for sure. And Lycanroc obviously can have the Drill Run, which can be a big threat to my Heatran, but I do have the Swampert that can come in on the Lycanroc that might be going for a Rock-type attack. It does outspeed my Thundurus. There's no reason to stay in. Since right now, I don't think that sacking off is always the best play, because differential does matter for me to maybe even have a chance of making playoffs. Now the question is, does Lycanroc Day kill me? Yeah, Rock Slide from a Lycanroc Day will kill me. And I mean, he doesn't even need to pop off a like anything else. So yeah, there's the Lycanroc. How much do you do to my Swampert set? Rock Slide's not doing much. Stone Edge isn't doing much. Let's take a look at Drill Run. Drill Run's doing about 30%. What other coverage does this thing even learn? I'm just going to take a look at Lycanroc. Lycanroc. What would you learn to hit a Swampert? Sucker Punch is neutral. I mean, you get neutral coverage, but nothing better than Drill Run. Okay. So yeah, Swampert should be the switch in. I'll take about 30%. It's not great, but it's not the end of the world. And I'd rather that than sacking off my Heatran yet, since Heatran is my immunity to Toxic if he goes for that on Toxapex or on Porygon. There's the Toxic on the Lycanroc, so I should have gone Heatran. So I guess he predicted the Swampert switch in there. That's a good play, but Swampert, EQ, 100% free. Serena comes in here. I could set up my rocks at this point. I could also Ice Punch the Serena if it comes in here. Does 50%, and if he doesn't have speed investment, I outspeed him. I could also Toxic here. I'm going to click... I kind of want my Stealth Rocks up still. Nothing's weak to them on his side of the field, but like Chip is Chip. Getting rid of Focus Ashes is getting rid of Focus Ashes. So I'm going to click Stealth Rocks here. Maybe bluff that I'm defensive, since I did bring it in like this. If he goes Serena, then we know that's his switch into this. Can Rapid Spin. Didn't really think about that too much. But that's alright. We can just go out into my Heatran at this point. Yeah, we take a little bit of Toxic damage. We do have the Heal Bell on Gardevoir, which is also a pretty good switch into Serena, barring him being like Choice Banded Serena, which I don't really see since this is his likely spinner. But then again, Power Whip is going to just obliterate my Gardevoir, whereas my Heatran takes it just fine and doesn't have to worry about just about anything. And if he does go for a Rapid Spin, then we're fine. And Rapid Spin is the predictable play here. And arguably, I could have just clicked Ice Punch in the last turn, done 50% of this, but he goes for the U-turn. So he doesn't actually Rapid Spin the rocks away. Maybe he's just not worried about them because, you know, it's tiny bits of chip. But Lycanroc comes back in here. Prove to me you have Drill Run. I will have to sack off my Heatran at this point. It's not worth going back into Swampert. And I get to watch him prove to me that he has Drill Run. It doesn't learn Ice Fang, right? I just looked at it, but I don't think it learned anything to hit Diggersby either. So honestly, goes out into the Metagross here. A little bit of Stealth Rock damage. Okay. So you're going to kill my Heatran, and I don't think it's worth switching out. But my Swampert is still a big threat to the Mega Metagross. My Diggersby is obviously a big threat to the Mega Metagross. I expect an EQ right here also. So I could go out into my Thundurus, but that switch seems a little bit more risky since my Heatran doesn't give me that much utility at this range. Really only stopping the... Well, so the thing is, he has to click EQ here to kill. Nothing else will kill. Then Headbutt won't kill. But then, I mean, if I go out into... Okay. If I go out into Thundurus and he does click EQ, like, best case scenario, right? I'm in here now. Ice Punch still kills me on the following turn. So, I mean, I might as well just let this go down. And click Lava Plume, and if he does try to make some crazy read, then that's fine. You know, if he goes for the Ice Punch, being like, oh, this guy's going to 100% go to Thundurus here, there's no way he's going to leave this in, knowing I'm going to Earthquake on it, then we're good, but I don't expect that to be the case. I expect it just to be an EQ. Now, I could go Diggersby here, which takes any hit from this thing, literally any hit from this thing. Like, honestly, the worst thing you can do here is Iron Head if he doesn't have the Ice Punch. Does Iron Head plus Bullet Punch take me out? Iron Head plus Bullet Punch takes me out. Ice Punch doesn't. I could go Ditto. I'm actually going to go Ditto here. Kind of scout out what you've got. You also, I don't think, want to take an EQ from a Mega Metagross. I'm not going to lie. So... So he's, wow, that's not the set I was expecting at all. So he has Earthquake, Grass Knot for the, and Toxic, Grass Knot for the Swampert. Okay, so if I go Diggersby on that, I don't know what your spread is in terms of how much damage you'd be doing with Grass Knot, but you don't have the Ice Punch. And Grass Knot, maybe your max special attack Modest. I don't know. Still only doing 70%. We know he doesn't have priority, so EQ is free. He can go Serena. I'm going to switch out if he does. But Chip is Chip on Serena. It takes Stealth Rocks, takes EQ from a Mega Metagross. I mean, it's... Yeah, so he's going to switch that out. Thickums comes out. That is the Toxapex. Well, I just clicked Earthquake, so I don't really necessarily know why you would make that reach. Shooka comes out, but I get to click it again? So Shooka Berry. Okay. But I mean, that did 30%. So we actually do get some information about this. Not a lot, because the Shooka Berry is really going to screw with the calcs here, but Shooka Berry, Earthquake. You're not physically defensive, is what that tells me. You're specially defensive. Okay, so now you don't have the Shooka Berry anymore. So we're doing like 60% with an Earthquake. I'll click it again. So he's going to double out again, out into Aquino. Was that the Serena? Yeah, that's the Serena. Alright, 12% from Rocks and 10% from Earthquake, whatever. Obviously no reason to keep Ditto in here. It's not doing anything to Serena, which is fine. You know, I'm not too worried about it. Sacking off the Heatran is a little bit unfortunate, but I do have the ability at this moment in time to go out into my Thundurus, if I want to, and be able to click Hidden Power Ice, or Discharge on anything I want to, which is exactly what I'm going to do, since he can just smack me upside the head with like a Power Whip. And if he does that, then cool. 50% is taken. Max. But there's no reason for Ditto to take damage right now. And this thing is, I believe at this point, in range. So there's the HJK, which is a lot. It's not stab. It doesn't even do 50%. That's a crit. So, yeah. High jump, kick. That was a crit. Of course it was. Yeah, and it has to be a crit since it did almost 50%. And it can't do that range. He could be adamant. He could be not adamant. He could be bulky. Really can't tell yet. I guess because I don't know his Metagross set is really why I can't really tell how bulky the Serena is. But it looks like max HP, potentially, Serena. And I do have the Hidden Power Ice. I can go for that. If he U-turns, he U-turns. I do have the Discharge as well. Discharge is doing about 20% to this thing. And you're about 71, so we're putting you at 50%, which doesn't necessarily guarantee I put you in range for another Hidden Power Ice, or for a Hidden Power Ice the following turn. But it can paralyze, and I do think that it is going to be the better play here, since I don't necessarily see you staying in. Ooh, he does stay in. Okay, so we're just going to go for the Discharge here. That does nothing, so you are probably Assault Vested. He goes for the Power Whip this time. After the crit, this has a chance to kill, and it does kill on another critical hit. Okay, so Mega Metagross kills Heatran with Earthquake. Serena kills Thundurus T with Power Whip. Okay, so he's probably Assault Vested based on the damage that I just did. My Diggersby, I'm pretty sure will outspeed you. You're clearly bulky, which means Ice Punch doesn't necessarily kill from that range, and if he lands a Power Whip, that's just straight up GG. So at that point, I'm going to go into my Swampert here. I do have the Psyshock on Mega Gardevoir, which can bypass the Disc Stuff. So we do outspeed. We are able to click a max attack Adamant Ice Punch on this Serena. Doesn't take it out, but he U-turns. He doesn't Power Whip, so we are still going to be able to be here. I couldn't quite see before he switched out if he was in range of rocks, of dying to rocks on the following switch in or not. So unfortunately, we don't get that information, but he does go out into the Mega Metagross at this point. We know he has the Grass Knot. How much does Grass Knot do if you're not invested in special attack? When I have the Rindo Berry. 0 attack minus mins out at 51.3%, which is 94 damage. Now, if I didn't have the Rindo, does that kill? If I'm not invested? Maybe. So you're probably not 0 attack minus. But if you're 0 special attack, there's only 3 rolls that can kill my Swampert from here. Additionally, since I know you have no stab moves, I could just go into Gardevoir at this point. You don't have a real way to hit it. But I think I am going to stay in here. I am going to click Earthquake. I do think it's my best play. He's going to go for the Earthquake. He's going to predict the switch. I don't know if that kills. And it looks like it doesn't kill. So he's actually very not invested in physical attack. And we are just going to be able to go for a Earthquake of our own and do a hefty chunk of damage to the Mega Metagross. Before my dart is going to go down to the next attack from this thing. So the differential's not going to be padded too much, unfortunately. I could switch out at this point, although nothing really wants to eat an Earthquake, I'm not going to lie. We did see that Earthquake do less than I expected it to, so he's not max attack. He's got some investment in special attack. So if I go out into Gardevoir here, and he goes for Earthquake, but he's not max attack. Yeah, he's still 2 at KOing, so I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to let my this thing go down. I do think his Serena's in range of dying, so he's going to go for the Earthquake here, and he's going to take me out. So Mega Metagross kills Swampert with Earthquake. And at this point I could go out into my Diggersby. Like I said before, he does have his Porygon 2 still maximally healthy, which is sort of unfortunate. We know he has the Grass Knot, but max special attack, modest Grass Knot is maxing out at like 70% to my Diggersby. And I can sweep the rest of his team if I can get the agility off. I can also go out into Gardevoir here. I can also go out into Ditto here. Where Serena's at, I can go out into Ditto and potentially just click Earthquake. If Porygon 2 comes in, then I can go out into Gardevoir at that point. Yeah, I think I'm going to go into Ditto here. I mean to set up my Diggersby, but the Grass Knot is actually making me like hesitant to do it. Serena is not an issue anymore. I don't have to think about that coming in at all. Toxapex is going to be, I mean, it's probably Regenerator, so he probably can take 1 hit from me, but I can just click EQ here and take out his Mega Metagross, and potentially not need to set up an Agility with Diggersby, since Lycanroc is the only thing that will outspeed me at that point. He is going to switch out. He's going to go out into Rich Coat. Is that the Porygon 2? Okay, that's P2. And he's tracing into Tough Claws. And he's not Download, he's Trace. Oops. And that does 20%, so you're physically defensive Porygon 2. Or you're just not physically invested. Not physically invested. So, I kind of want to get information about your set. I can go out into Gardevoir here on the Porygon 2. Or I can go out into Diggersby. Although Diggersby going down is basically GG. And I don't know what move he's gonna click. I really don't. He could just recover. I'm gonna go Diggersby here. I'm gonna make this read that he's gonna click either recover, or I don't really know what he would click there, honestly. Shadow Ball. He goes straight for the Ice Beam. We do pop our berry, but that is really unfortunate that he goes straight for that. We are able to eat that hit, and we are able to click knockoff here, which is completely free, and we'll do a little bit of damage, and once he loses the Eviolite, Earthquake can take him out if he doesn't recover here. So unfortunately, he does go straight for the Ice Beam, and we are not going to be able to. That crits him. He's probably going to go for another Ice Beam here, or the recover. Honestly, the recover is not the biggest worry of mine, since I am going to be able to just click Earthquake or switch out. I'm gonna click Earthquake here. If he decides to switch out, which I don't necessarily see at this point, I could have gone into Gardevoir. That may have been the better play here. Since Diggersby is still potentially healthy enough to take a Grass Knot, whereas after another Ice Beam it will not be, and I don't have Quick Attack. But we are going to go for the Earthquake here. He's going to stay in. We're going to see how much damage this Earthquake does. The double crits on Thunder is really, really hurting me. There's the Ice Beam once again. So we are going to take that. We're going to take it, which is okay. And we are just going to be able to click Earthquake once again here. Take out whatever he switches in. It's possibly the Serena. And then he goes out into the Metagross. And I can't let him recover, obviously, so I'm just going to click Earthquake again. And yeah, he's going to switch out. I could have Agility'd. That would have actually been possibly the best play that I'd ever made. If I made this read and read that and went for the Agility, that would have been amazing. But, so, Serena dies to Stealth Rocks. I forget who set those up. I think it was Swampert. But I have it on Heatran as well, and I think it's Swampert who set them up. Now, man, if I had just gone for... If I had just gone for Agility. I knew he'd switch. He had to switch. But now everything's in range of Ditto, right? Right? I mean, I don't know if his Lycanrock's going to pop off like another Shuka Berry. But I think everything's in range of Ditto. And I have nothing else that I can set up on. That was my chance to set up. Right there was my chance to set up. So I'm going to click EQ again. I'm going to die. I can't believe I just didn't read that. I knew he'd do that. Kills Diggersby with Earthquake. And I go Ditto here. I don't think Porygon 2 without the Eviolite is going to be able to take this Earthquake. Lycanroc Day shouldn't be able to take it. Toxapex may be able to take one. Especially after the Stealth Rocks, Porygon 2 I don't think can take it. So theoretically, Lycanroc can't have Focus Sash. I don't know his spread per se. But Earthquake, if he's max attack, which I don't think he is killing a Lycanroc. And after Stealth Rocks, he has to be like basically no attack and a bulky boy on the Lycanroc side for it not to kill. So we may still be able to clutch out a win here, but not with the differential that I was hoping, even if I do pull out this win, which is either going to be like a 2-0 if Ditto just sweeps here, or a 1-0, pending, you know, the result of everything else. If he goes Porygon 2 and then into Toxapex, I have to stay in. I don't know what he's going to go for. Maybe Scald, and if he Scald burns, then, like, I have to go Gardevoir, I have to Heal Bell. Like, we have to play around that, and we have to get this Mega Metagross as my Ditto again. Potentially, if he goes Toxapex, if he goes Porygon 2 to sack into Toxapex, then I just switch out my Ditto again. And if he goes straight into Toxapex to sack that, since we saw how much I did with the Shuka, and he doesn't have it anymore, He could be playing like Regenerator to try to stall out PP. Oh, that does 40%. Solid 40%, which means he's probably going to recover here. And if he scalds, either way, I think Gardevoir is going to be my switch into this. Toxapex. So we know that we do 40%, which is, he has no attack investment, and his max defense Toxapex, which is wild. We do still have Mega Gardevoir, and if he's max physical defense Toxapex, he is taking 50 to 60% from a Psyshock, but if he does go for like a Poison Jab, even if he's minus attack natured, he is going to be able to 2-hit KO my Gardevoir, and I'm pretty sure this thing gets some sort of Sludge Bomb or something, and that's also going to be doing a lot to my Gardevoir. But I really can't just like stay in right now. So I am. I mean, I could stay in and try to crit. But he's going to be gaining a little bit of health back every single turn that I leave him in here. But I'm going to go for one more Earthquake. Maybe crit. Maybe we get the, you know, the crit that returns the old crit to equal opportunity crits. Nope. So no crit. And he goes for the recover, as expected. And I can just keep doing this, potentially, for a few turns. But I'd rather go into Gardevoir when I know he's going to recover. And keep my Ditto healthy. And Gardevoir is going to be able to come in here. If he clicks an attack right now, then I'm, like, super hosed. But I'm just going to go for a Psyshock. Theoretically, we're doing something in the city of, like, 60%. And he can't kill me with any one hit with this thing. But he could put me in range of the Metagross. But again, if this thing is down below 30%, and I can get my Ditto in as a Metagross, then we're fine. But he did show Regenerator, which he can play around my Ditto for the end of the game. So that's going to do solid 60%. Gunk Shot comes out. He lands the Gunk Shot. And if he's offensively invested, we live on one. Please don't poison. That's the season. That's the New York Empoleon's season right there. Toxapex kills Mega Gardevoir with poison. He clicks recover here. He switches out here. It doesn't really matter. Like, he eventually wins this game. It's just a matter of who he wants to kill me with. So, okay. What could I have done differently? Honestly, don't get crit twice on Thundurus. Would have helped. Maybe made that the agility read, honestly. Like, yeah, he still had a full HP Toxapex, which is, like, a problem. But Earthquake's doing a lot of damage and allows me to, like, kill this thing later. Goes out into Porygon 2 to get the Regenerator back, so I can never kill the Toxapex. There's no way. And Porygon 2 should die to this. It doesn't, and we don't get the burn. No burn. Okay, good. Gardevoir lives the Gunk Shot. Right? We are on 1 HP. He has no priority anywhere on his team. Three. Crit. Burn. Alright, well this strategy is not going to work. But I did have to sacrifice... I did have to sacrifice too many of the PP. And Metagross comes in. And he clicks EQ. Or he goes back into Toxapex. It doesn't matter. I have no choice. I'm clicking the move. He clicks EQ. We may be able to take one because he was not like super invested and this thing was super defensive. We saw it did like 50% to his Toxapex. So we're gonna take that. Ditto's gonna. Oh, he crits me. Oh, he crits me. Holy Jesus! All right, Ditto kills Metagross with Scald. Goes down to Lycanroc. Drill Run. Crit me. I dare you to crit me. Doesn't even need it. Oh, he's Life Orb. Okay. I don't know if that mattered. I have no idea what his spread was. Lycanroc kills Ditto with Drill Run. I mean, hey, great game to my opponent. To Obo, go check his channel out if you have any interest in doing so. I certainly think he's a great battler and will be a great contender in PCL Season 3 should he be invited back, having replaced Brendan. So I appreciate you stepping in and filling the shoes of Brendan. Like, at the end of these videos that I lose, I usually discuss, like, what could I have done differently to win that game? It's disheartening because I'm eliminated from playoffs as a result of this loss. That being said, what could I have done differently to win this game? Let's see. Not get crit by everything, every single moment of every single day. Actually set up with my Diggersby would have been the big one. When he went Serena and sacked it, hitting agility there would have been game-changing. 100%. I guarantee that. I know I was at like very low HP. Making a couple of reads that I didn't make also would have helped. The Ice Beam by the Porygon 2 going out to Gardevoir instead of Diggersby would have been better, obviously there. But the real big thing here is Thundurus T took High Jump Kick and Power Whip, two attacks that do less than 50%. Like, High Jump Kick should have done 30 and Power Whip should have done 40. And instead it's dead. You know, like, and then I'm like out my Thundurus T. Which just like, what are you gonna do? You know, like how do you come back from like a Mon that is really vital to not taking EQs? Even just having it alive was gonna be very, very helpful to me. And if I saw that he went for the High Jump Kick and the Power Whip, I saw that he was, you know, I would have been alive. I would have been able to click Volt Switch, probably get out of there. I don't know yet how I would have played it, but like honestly, like the big one was not reading the Earthquake on the Heatran, but honestly, even that, like, the New York Empoleon will not be joining the PCL playoff extravaganza that is coming up in a few weeks. So good luck to whomever from my division makes it to that. So Shay, Dai, and Danza are all still alive. So good luck to whoever makes it. Honestly, great game to my opponent, Obo. I don't blame you for hacks. I just still feel salty about the fact that they like cost me any chance of winning that game at any point. Because I don't know if Drill Run kills if the crit doesn't happen with the Earthquake from before. I don't know how much Scald does, but you seemed to be relatively measly offensive. And then again, I'm going to click Struggle on your Toxapex. I don't think that matters at the end of the day, but it's just another like piece of salt in the wound that already hurts. So anyway, we will be back again next week, taking on Danza and the Los Angeles Nidokings in Week 11. We are obviously not going to stop playing now that we are eliminated from playoff contention. We are just going to continue having a grand old time. But thank you all so much for watching. I will see you guys next week with the PCL. I will see you guys back again with the TBL. And I will continue doing leagues and like things like the APA Evolution League that's starting up that you guys have seen the draft analysis for at this point. So hopefully you guys are pumped for things like that. It's the first time the New York Empoleon will not be in the playoffs of a season. That happens when you start the beginning of a season 0-4. It's gonna be the way it goes. So thank you all so much for watching. I will see you guys next time. Take care, everybody.